You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video we're going to review episode 4 of Game of Thrones, and boy, what an episode. First of all, I gotta start off with Jaime. Last week, prior to what happened with him and Cersei at Joffrey's grave, or his deathbed, whatever you want to call it, you know, I was really feeling that he was redeeming himself. You could see him looking at his family in a different light, the way Cersei treated him, the way his father treated him. Then he turns around and he basically rapes Cersei in front of their son's dead body, I should say. And then I'm like, oh man, I don't know how I feel about Jaime now. He's kind of reverting back to someone I despise, because, you know, when it all started, I despised him. I thought he was an arrogant prick. But this episode, now we see him again in another light. And kudos to Bronn for basically putting him on the spot and telling him how, you know, Jaime was Tyrion's first choice to defend him in the Eyre when he was on trial. And obviously the only reason he chose Bronn because Jaime was captured. You know, and he went and he visits Tyrion and they talk, and he knows in his hearts of hearts that Tyrion didn't do it. I think he knows that. So then he meets up with Cersei, and Cersei basically treats him like crap again. Understandably so, alright? Understandably so. But she puts him on the spot as well. You know, if I asked you to go and bring me Sansa's head, would you do it? And you could see him very hesitant because he has an oath. Then that nice scene with him and Brienne where he gives her his sword, a beautiful sword, and he crafted her that fine armor and basically said, go find Sansa and keep her safe. And right there, I was like, oh man. I mean, it was just great. It was such a great moment. That was such a great scene. And you know Brienne is so in love with him. And for him to gift her those things and to kind of, I'm not saying taking sides, but just doing the right thing, and which barely happens on this show. Rarely ever happens on the show, doing the right thing. And usually if you do the right thing, it gets you killed. So maybe we should be a little bit worried about Jaime. And then finally, I think the thing that made me happiest within this scene of events that occurred, you know, Cersei and Jaime and Tyrion, and Tyrion and Brienne, is when she was about to leave and Podrick goes with her. That was very, very satisfying for me, because I like Podrick. He's one of those, you know, supportive characters that are really likable, because the character is so loyal to Tyrion, so loyal in general, and he's just, I think he's got a lot of talent or potential as a fighter, because, you know, the Blackwater saved Tyrion's ass, and I think it'll be nice. I'm very happy he's going with Brienne. And you know, when she names the sword Oathkeeper, I mean, just a badass name for a badass sword, I think. That whole sequence is just phenomenal. Now, moving on to Maergaery. You know, I said it before the season started. For those of you who might have watched some of my videos leading up to season 4, I said she's beginning to become one of my most favorite characters, and boy, she just keeps climbing that ladder. Going into Tommen's, you know, well, what used to be Joffrey's bedroom, and kind of just, you know, engaging with him and talking, and that was just clever. And obviously got the idea from her grandmother, who she now knows is responsible for Joffrey's death. You know, she just knows this, and she just played it so sweet. I mean, you could see him. He's like, you know, he probably nutted right there. He probably just blew right there. And so that was very clever of her. And I love the way she handles herself, the way she got in there, charmed him, got to him before his mother could get to him, and just awesome. Awesome scene. I love that. I love her. She is, you know, aside from the fact that she's gorgeous, the character in and of itself is just phenomenal. Now, swinging it back to the beginning of the episode, we see Daenerys. Basically, we see her, again, utilizing the slaves to basically do the work for her and keep her armies at arm's length away from all the action. And you see the slaves just pretty much took over, sacked the city for her. And I guess the money shot there for me was seeing her looking down on the city as they pan away, and you see her flag over the I I guess I don't know what to call that. But the statue, let's just put it that way, the statue. Seeing the flag on the statue, the Targaryen flag, and her in front of it, man, that was an awesome shot. I love that shot. That was so great. And the best thing about that, too, is, you know, you kind of wonder where she's going mentally. Like, she's gotten very strong over the seasons. But when, and I forget his name, he used the former Kingsguard. They don't show him enough for me to remember his name anymore, but you guys know who I'm talking about. When he looked at her and he said, you know, sometimes, you know, basically saying sometimes justice is showing mercy or something along those lines, or answering justice, you can answer it with mercy, something along those lines. And she says, I answered justice with justice. And the thing of it is that you see that, to me, that was like a turning point for her, because she has shown mercy in the past, and every time she's shown mercy in the past, she's been burnt. So, and that's the world of Game of Thrones in and of itself. That's like the essence of Game of Thrones. You know, playing it nice, playing honor doesn't cut it. It's a great thought, but it doesn't cut it in this world, and she knows that already. She knows that before even getting to King's Landing. So now, you know, she is just getting more and more powerful, and it's going to be really interesting to see where she's going to go the rest of the way, man, because she is sacking cities left and right. And it's nice to see Grey Worm trying to talk English, and you see something a little going on between her and, for lack of a better term, because I don't remember her name, but I guess Khaleesi's Herald, that female, that she very pretty girl. So it looks like her and Grey Worm are going to get something going. Now, talked about Jaime, talked about Daenerys, touched upon a little bit Maergaery. You know, we saw Peter and Sansa, and you see Peter is very, very, very ambitious. He wants it all. He wants everything. He made that straight, cut, and clear. And as much as the Lannisters have taken care of him, he has answered with basically screwing him up the ass while they were blindfolded because they don't even know he's involved. So that's awesome. And, you know, it's hard to tell exactly what he has in plan for Sansa. I mean, I do know that he was very, very much in love with Catelyn Stark, so maybe he's genuinely trying to protect her, but I don't know. I don't get that vibe from him. Like, I'm sure he wants to keep her safe, but I think he's got other things in mind, so we'll see how that plays out. So, you know, a very good episode. Now, the biggest thing for me at the end was seeing how the events were playing off over in by the wall, you know, at the Castle Black, and then Craster's Keep. They you know, they're on their way there now. Obviously, there's a whole plan put in place. Almost two things going on. First of all, we saw that Locke is up there now, so you know what his goal is. His goal is to kill Jon Snow, and if he finds Bran Stark, kill him too. And it looks like he's gonna fucking hit the lotto, because if you saw the ending of the episode, and on top of that, the coming attractions, he's basically marching right into. He's already with Jon Snow and marching right into where Bran Stark is. So, and Locke he's a bastard, man, and he's a killer. I mean, you saw what he did to Jaime. I mean, if he could have killed Jaime, he probably would have done it, but he cut off his hand. So, and the guy in charge now, and I don't even care to remember his name because he's such a prick, you know, but the guy with the orange curly fro, you know, he's obviously devised as allowing Jon Snow to go to Craster's Keep because he wanted to get an idea of how many supporters he has. Oh, look at that. I'm getting text messages. Excuse me. So, so he's allowing him to go there to see what kind of support Jon Snow has, because he knows that once they vote on a new leader, or the other guy that used to be in King's Landing, the former Knights Guard, told him, look, these people love him. They like him, more or less. He's telling him that, and you might want to reconsider being a prick, because otherwise you'll have to take orders from him. And he found out that, you know, he's got a pretty good supporting cast there in Castle Black. So, question is, will they even survive to be able to see a new leader? Because, you know, some of them marching to Craster's Keep, Mance is still on the way to the wall, and finally the White Walkers. I don't know, you know, now we get to see exactly what they were doing to the babies. To me, it looks like they're just turning them into White Walkers, and I guess maybe doing it the way they did it, starting them young, maybe builds a stronger White Walker or a more refined White Walker. Because, you know, when they've done it to either people who have died or near death, they come back, you know, like a zombie, where These White Walkers, the one that touched that baby's face looks very like, you know, he doesn't look like a zombie. He looks like almost like a demon. Like, it just really eerie. But I mean, it is getting real, man. It is getting real. Such a great episode. I love to see that Bran got more screen time, and you know, he's in a pickle right now. He's in a pickle. Him and his friends are in a pickle. But I think they're gonna get out of it. Hopefully, none of the other two die, or any one of them die. Hopefully, Jon Snow and his crew get there on time. But even when they get there and they take care of business, Jon unknowingly has to look out for Locke. And that's a concern. That's a concern because Locke is a conniving, sneaky little bastard, and he's already kind of befriended him in some ways by basically volunteering to go on the trip to Craster's Keep without even being sworn in yet. So very, very interesting events to play out. I'm very excited for next Sunday's episode. I love the season so far. This season has been fantastic. This episode was great. And that's it. What else can you say? What do you guys think? Did you like this episode? How do you feel about Jaime after last week raping Cersei and then this week doing some pretty honorable stuff? Is anyone else confused about how you should feel about this guy? It's crazy. It's a crazy show, man. I love this show. It's so awesome. Anyway, guys, that's it for this review. I'll see you next Sunday for Game of Thrones review of episode 5, and you can expect my preview up this week on the channel. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.